How do you feel when you see the crimson air or choke on the smell of wildfire smoke blanketing the atmosphere? Today, let's explore compelling perspectives on our relationships with smoke, fire, and the environment, with The Smoke Inside by Roger Peet and Are We Dead Yet by Stephen Dupont. Roger Peet is an artist, printmaker, muralist, and writer in Portland, Oregon. He is a founding member of the Just Seeds Artist Cooperative and coordinates the National Endangered Species Mural Project for the Center for Biological Diversity. His visual work regularly focuses on civilization's bad ideas, predator-prey relationships, and the interconnected crises of biodiversity, capitalism, and environmental disaster. The Smoke Inside features condensed interviews conducted by Pete and his partner Erica Thomas with 3 formerly incarcerated wildland firefighters. I immediately connect this red sun and gray cloud with wildfire smoke. These graphic symbols are enough to bring up the apprehension I feel when smoke in the air filters the sunlight to a deep red. Nathan's words begin by describing the excitement around fire season and illuminate the ravenous intensity of a forest fire. As he describes how prisoners use smoke to make tattoo ink, I start to break apart the title of this book, thinking about the layers of meaning contained in these words, the smoke inside. Like the tattoo ink, the ink for this book also came from fire. Pete collected charcoal from the Oregon wildfires in 2020 and made his own printmaking ink with it. The gray words and smoke, all hand-carved from linoleum, are printed with his custom charcoal ink. Nathan wonders how people perceive the incarcerated firefighters, how they might treat them differently if they knew that the people saving their homes came directly from prison. He emphasizes the acute complexity of being an incarcerated firefighter. Everything is a juxtaposition, he says. Fighting fires on the outside one moment, and then having your freedoms revoked when the work is done and you go back inside. His words make me think about how a person's work and body are valued in relation to their identities and past actions. Nathan recognizes that he is simultaneously a valued service member and an anonymous state-issued tool. I'm moved by the power and confidence Noelle reclaims from fighting fire in a place connected to bad memories. Like Nathan, she also notes the excitement of the coming wildfire season and how it gets you going. The whole world is burning around you, but inside you feel more at peace because you're free out there. Mostly, you feel like that part of you that is a prisoner is burning away. Everything around you is chaos, but it's calming. Flame tips rise, leading me to think not just about the actual fire, but of the power of this dangerous work to invigorate and give meaningful spirit to incarcerated firefighters. Adam's story takes us into the heart of the fire, how it's more difficult to find pockets of air to breathe at night, and the intense focus required by the work. He describes the alternate reality created by the smoke affecting colors and shadow. Like the tattoo ink made from smoke, and the charcoal ink Pete used in this book, Adam relates soot caking in his nose to ink. In his body and on the tissue are indelible marks from the fire of a certain time and place. The Smoke Inside is an accordion book, so we can read each story page by page, or open it up to take in the vast, billowing smoke behind everyone's words. Indigenous communities have stewarded the land for millennia with controlled burns to shape and promote forest health. The recent effects of climate change now cause the heavy smoke of wildfire season to be met with increased anxiety. Peet's book opens us to another perspective, to the transformative experiences of incarcerated wildland firefighters inside the smoke. Stephen Dupont is an Australian documentary photographer and filmmaker. His photographs and artist books turn the lens toward the human condition, fragile cultures, and marginalized people. War and climate change are major subjects of his expansive body of work. The imposing size of Are We Dead Yet wastes no time demanding my attention. The book is permanently attached to the case. The fact that we can't remove the binding from the box makes me consider the idea of protection as essential and inseparable from the contents of this book. Dupont opens with words to focus our attention. A familiar quote from Greta Thunberg implores us to act. A poem written by Dupont's daughter Ava decries the state of pollution, capitalism, and the careless regard for the land we stole from indigenous people. Dupont's own introduction builds on the words of these two young climate activists, defining his own place in the story as a deeply concerned photographer, father, and Australian citizen who witnessed the 2019 to 2020 bushfires engulf huge swaths of the country. He frames our thinking for the photos that follow. My eyes are immediately overpowered by the foreboding color of the air. I read sadness, concern, and worry from this Indigenous man standing with his home and property behind him. Can it be saved from the fires that are so close? As I move into the book, I sense the quickness of fire spreading. The color is so rich and deep, the scale so big. I am immersed. Sometimes Dupont closes in on small details, but these images remain connected to the greater scale of the disasters. Like the photos depicting more of the landscape, they ask, if our climate crisis is so massive and all-encompassing, can we still recover? Are We Dead Yet includes few photographs of people. Dupont has noted that viewers tend to associate with the person in an image. He's right. When I see a person or an animal, my mind moves right to them. I develop a story in my head, wondering about what they've lost, what they think, and how they're surviving. But Dupont intentionally limited the number of people we see in this book. He wants us to associate with the planet, the trees, and the power of the landscape. Whether the photograph shows a natural habitat or evidence of human habitation, the destruction is all-encompassing. The majority of images in Are We Dead Yet were photographed in Dupont's home state of New South Wales. In addition to fire and smoke, there are floods, drought, and the destruction of native forests. This is personal to him, and this book embodies that. I think about how often I am presented with images of gloriously pristine natural environments. The message in those photographs is, look at these beautiful places that we have to save. Dupont finds and utilizes beauty from a different angle. Because they are beautiful, I sit with these photographs of devastation, appreciating their formal qualities, the intricate detail captured by the camera lens, the emotions they elicit, and the painful truths they speak. I also want to keep turning the pages to see the next one, not out of grim fascination, but because beauty is doing the heavy lifting to keep me from turning away in despair. Dupont's deliberate pacing and juxtaposition of his images sends a message too. From the enormous dust clouds consuming the landscape, to the detail of water churn against the unnaturally hazy sky, he reminds us that climate disasters affect everything on our connected Earth. We are constantly inundated with images, scrolling through tiny photos and videos on our phones without really looking. To sit with Are We Dead Yet is to have Dupont's photographs inundate our field of vision. He confronts us with beauty and devastating reality, beseeching us to feel, to reflect, and ultimately to act. The Smoke Inside and Are We Dead Yet draw us close into smoke, fire, and other environmental catastrophes. They are stories of protection that expose the humanity of the incarcerated through their sacrifice, and the sacrifice we will all make if we let everything go up in smoke.